Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one of the absolute most fascinating, intense, and honestly mind-bending encounters found in the ancient epic, the Mahabharata. We are going to set the stage for a literal clash between mortal prowess and supreme cosmic power. It's a story where the ultimate warrior goes completely head-to-head with the divine. So, let's just jump right in.
So ask yourself this. What happens when an undefeated mortal warrior accidentally picks a physical fight with the supreme creator of the universe? I mean, it kind of sounds like the setup to a joke, right? But it's actually the premise of a deeply profound philosophical and martial test. As we'll see today, the dramatic irony in this ancient text is just incredible. We, the audience, know exactly who is behind the disguise, but our hero, he is completely, utterly in the dark.
Section 1. The Golden Hunter Descends.
To really understand the magnitude of this encounter, we have to start chronologically. Picture this. Our hero, Arjuna, is deep in the wild, totally isolated in the Himavat Mountains, performing these incredibly intense austerities. But suddenly, that quiet environment is completely transformed. The god Shiva, the wielder of the Pinaka and cleanser of all sins, descends onto the mountain. But he's disguised. He takes the form of a Kirata, a mountain hunter, resplendent as a golden tree. He's accompanied by his consort Uma and a swarm of merry spirits. The text actually tells us that the region suddenly blazed up in beauty, and then a solemn stillness pervaded the place. The sounds of springs, the watercourses, the birds, they all just instantly cease. It's like the atmosphere itself is holding its breath.
Section 2. The Demon Boar's Demise.
Well, that awe-inspiring silence, it doesn't last long. We shift instantly from this serene, beautiful forest to a sudden, violent monster attack. A massive demon named Mukha charges right at Arjuna, taking the terrifying form of a giant boar. This is it. The inciting incident has arrived. As the boar charges, Arjuna immediately strings his bow and fires arrows that the text describes as resembling snakes of virulent poison. But wait! The disguised Shiva shouts out that he aimed at the boar first. He fires an arrow like flaming fire and resembling the thunderbolt. Both warriors strike this beast down at the exact same fraction of a second.
And the impact is absolutely devastating. The text notes that the arrows hit the boar with a sound like Indra's thunderbolt hitting a mountain. The giant beast falls dead, and it immediately reverts to its true terrifying form, a demonic Rakshasa. But, you'd think a shared kill like this would lead to some mutual warrior respect. Nope. Instead, it instantly sparks a pretty petty and incredibly dangerous dispute. Arjuna haughtily claims the kill for himself, and the Kirata throws it right back at him. The tension here is just sky high.
Section 3. Clash of Mortal and Divine.
So the conflict escalates, and it escalates rapidly. Arjuna's mortal hubris goes completely unchecked. He literally threatens to kill this mysterious hunter who dares to claim his prize. But the Kirata's response? It is chillingly calm. He says, "Thou art thyself in fault, O wretch, and therefore shalt not escape from me with life. Stay thou." Shiva is playfully, but very forcefully baiting his own devotee. He's essentially inviting Arjuna to shoot his best arrows. It is the ultimate bring-it-on moment, straight from the creator of the universe.
Furious, Arjuna just unleashes a perfect shower of his deadliest arrows. But what happens? The Kirata just takes it. He stands there completely unwounded, immovable like a hill, bearing this massive attack with a completely cheerful heart. It's such a striking contrast. Arjuna is working furiously, sweating, straining, and the disguised god is basically enjoying a light breeze.
Okay, let's pause the action right here for a second, because internally, Arjuna is having a total meltdown. He suddenly asks himself, who is this person that swalloweth my arrows? He experiences this massive wave of inner panic and confusion. I mean, earlier, the god Agni had given Arjuna these inexhaustible quivers of arrows. But now, against some random mountaineer, those inexhaustible arrows are completely exhausted. For the very first time in his entire life, his infallible weapons are utterly failing him.
And the rapid degradation of Arjuna's arsenal here is just stunning to watch. In minute 1, his literally inexhaustible arrows run out. By minute 2, he tries to strike with his bow, but the Kirata just snatches the celestial bow right out of his hands. Minute 3, Arjuna draws his solid sword and strikes the Kirata right on the head, but the sword shatters into pieces the second it touches the hunter's crown. Minute 4, desperate now, Arjuna starts uprooting whole trees and throwing giant rocks, which the god just absorbs patiently. Finally, in minute 5, reduced to absolutely nothing, Arjuna charges in with his bare fists. He goes from the ultimate armed warrior to a frantic brawler in just a matter of moments.
The climax of this physical fight is so visceral. They lock into this brutal hand-to-hand combat, pressing hard against each other's chests. And get this, the text describes the pressure between the mortal and the divine being so intense here that their bodies actually begin to emit smoke, like charcoal and fire. Finally, the great god decides he's had enough, strikes back with his full might, and completely smites the breathless Arjuna, knocking him senseless to the ground.
Section 4. The Garland Secret.
Now the violence is over, and Arjuna has been thoroughly, completely humbled. This utter defeat has finally stripped away all of that warrior pride. First he awakens, bruised, breathless, covered in blood, and just filled with grief. Having lost absolutely everything physically, he retreats mentally. He molds a simple clay image of Shiva, the gracious god of gods. And then he prostrates himself, prays, and offers a beautiful floral garland to the clay idol, just seeking some kind of spiritual comfort.
And here is the ultimate twist. This is the exact moment that dramatic irony we talked about at the very beginning finally pays off. Arjuna looks up, and he sees the very garland he just placed on that clay idol, now resting perfectly on the crown of the Kirata hunter standing right in front of him. It is a breathtaking realization. He finally understands exactly who he has been punching, shooting, and throwing rocks at this whole time.
Section 5. The God's Forgiveness. So here, we shift entirely from a narrative of violent conflict to one of pure divine grace. Arjuna falls to the feet of the hunter, totally waiting for punishment. But instead of wrath, Shiva reveals his true, blazing form as Mahadeva. With a voice deep as roaring clouds, he says, "There is no Kshatriya, no warrior, who is equal to thee in courage. Thy strength and prowess are almost equal to mine." Shiva is actually pleased. He isn't angry at all about the attack. He's praising Arjuna's unmatched endurance and parallel strength.
Completely overwhelmed, Arjuna pours out this rapid, incredibly humble litany of devotion. He calls out, "Kapardhan, Mahadeva, cause of all causes, destroyer of the eyes of Bhaga, Shiva in the form of Vishnu, creator of all." It is this absolute flood of awe pouring out of our previously arrogant hero as he finally recognizes the true infinite scale of the being standing right before him.
Arjuna then makes a direct, heartfelt plea. He says, "Let not this rashness of mine be regarded as a fault, this combat in which I was engaged with thee from ignorance. Pardon me all I have done." He's taking full accountability here, total ownership of his mortal arrogance and his profound ignorance.
And the resolution to all of this is incredibly warm. The text tells us that Shiva, actually taking the handsome hands of Arjuna into his own, smilingly replies, "I have pardoned thee." He cheerfully clasps Arjuna in his arms, consoles him, and goes on to promise him that irresistible weapon he originally came to the mountain for, completely restoring the warrior's spirit.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought to ponder. When we are stripped of all our weapons, our tools, our defenses, and our pride, is true power ultimately found in our humility? Arjuna literally had to lose every single physical advantage he ever relied on to finally realize that his true strength lay in devotion and surrender. It is a brilliant, timeless human truth hidden right inside an ancient mythological battle. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you wanting to explore even more of these incredible ancient texts for yourself.